And I just wanted to give you an example of some of the things that we have found deeply concerning. And I'm going to go ahead and start with it. If you look at 1.5 commercial landlords, that's one of the ineligible entities. Mr. Atalig, when you were giving out Boost Awards with your fellow panelists, did you not notice how many awards were given to apartment and landlord owners?
On the advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Thank you. And that has been one of several concerns that we had, but it is a big one, and I want to explain why for those who want to understand that there were a ton of apartment owners that were given boosts. Some of them who stated publicly on Facebook that I will support Governor Ralph Torres if I receive a boost. One of them I know who said, if I get boosted for my apartments, I will support Governor Torres. Did you ever hear of any such statement made like that, Mr. Atalig?
On the advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Thank you. I want to point out that when you give a boost award to somebody that owns an apartment, commercial landlord, how does this help the CNMI's economy? This is actually something that helps the person that owns the apartment or the property. You're being given federal money to fix up your apartment that gives you an unfair advantage over somebody else that owns an apartment. So they can buy new furniture and other things. But in fact, Mr. Atalig, you are Secretary of Finance, you're well aware of finance. Aren't apartments considered passive income?
On advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
And that passive income is because the only beneficiary is the person who only actually owns that. We're not talking about multiple jobs. We're not talking about a hotel that employs dozens or hundreds of people. We're talking about an apartment that benefits the actual owner, who, again, several of them received hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix up their place. Let me continue. That's just one of many things, but there are several others ineligible that are such as nonprofit organizations and so forth. And if you do look at this CEDA, the priority of this was those small businesses that were in existence, that were operating during COVID, that were struggling just to survive. That is what the Guam Economic Development Authority did. And this is what the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority, under the executive director, Manny Sablan, tried to do. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. What had happened was that this was thrown out. And Mr. Guerrero never heard again from Governor Torres, yourself, or anyone else. No panelists commented on this. Instead, you chose to make up your own rules and gave out your own awards and different amounts that were given. Mr. Atalig, are you aware of how many people applied for the Boost program?
On advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Thank you. Are you aware that less than 10% of those applicants actually received a Boost award?
On advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution as well as seen in my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Thank you. That means that essentially you have a less than 10% chance of getting an award, a Boost Award. But yet, through our research and reviewing different people that were actually awarded, we found some who had multiple businesses, up to 6 businesses. And some of these reward recipients received 6 out of 6. Alexandra Yuan Jing. Mr. Atalig, did you ever review any of her applications for Boost Awards?
On advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution, as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Did Mr. Jess Taisegui, the business partner of Miss Alexandra Yuan Jing, ever speak to you, or did you ever hear any conversation about asking that you or Mr. Will Castro give these awards to Miss Jing?
On advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution, as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Miss Jing received for every application that she turned in for Boost, she received an award, and quite a large amount. And that included for businesses that were not even operating at the time during COVID. Do you feel that this is fair?
On advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution, as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
We will move on. Mr. Atalig, what is your relationship to Mr. Shane Villanueva of Royal Soil?
On advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution, as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Did you draft a contract, or did Mr. Shane Villanueva draft a contract that had your signature and his signature agreeing to market the Fisher Farmers and Ranchers program under the Boost program?
On the advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution, as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Did you order Mr. John Arroyo, the president of Bank of Saipan, in an email where he said he was uncomfortable in paying Mr. Shane Villanueva such a large amount? Did you instruct him nonetheless to go ahead and make that payment of $215,000?
On the advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution, as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Mr. Shane Villanueva, as a marketing agent or marketing executive under the Farmers, Fishermen, and Ranchers program, received $215,000 in roughly 1 month of marketing work. If you were to translate that into a year of marketing, Mr. Shane Villanueva would have made over $2 million in marketing. Does that sound like a fair marketing value for the work that he did?
On the advice of my attorney, I respectfully respond to your question by asserting my Fifth Amendment right under the United States Constitution, as well as the scene of my Constitution, Article 1, Section 4C.
Mr. Chairman, I yield for now. Thank you.